So this is not only the small but fierce chapter, it's incredible. Largely, we are successful due to the guy who's about to stand up, who is so generous with his time for 3 different contacts and coffee. Like he said, he's so involved in helping us, he didn't even get on the speech schedule. So it is my huge pleasure to stand here gong in hand, waiting to introduce not only the guy who built this chapter, but had 8 years building with Tip in Orange County. He can network in his sleep. Those of you who have not taken advantage of his skills get to know him well. But the thing he does extremely well is he is the head honcho here for Health Plans for Less. He is extraordinary at not only presenting healthcare with health plans, which are, anybody ever tried to read one of those contracts, just awesomely deceptive and crazy. He brings it into English. I've never seen anybody with less pressure in a sales thing. He just makes it happen. In the space of a year, he has not only reached so many of us, I've talked to so many people in this Contacts and Coffee group who have cut hundreds of dollars from their health bills every year, every month. He has also recruited many, many of the top financial pros in this group to become part of Health Plans for Less. It is my honor, it is my privilege, I will hold on to the gong so nobody touches this while he's up there, to introduce my friend, your fearless leader in CME, Brad Burch.
All right. Thank you for that. I didn't give him anything. I didn't prepare anything. He just did that. So I appreciate that, Mark. All right. Good morning, everyone. Brad Burch, Health Plans for Less. I'm speaking off the cuff today. When I teach people how to network, I tell them always be prepared to give a presentation and have a 3-minute one ready to go, a 5-minute one ready to go, and a 10-minute one ready to go, so that if ever the opportunity falls in your lap, like today, you're ready to take off and take advantage of that opportunity. So I want to give you just a quick, brief background on how I got into this with Health Plans for Less, and then I'm going to tell you an overview of what I do for everyone. Everyone I work with, it's a custom plan, but the approach, the philosophy is the same with everyone. So as Mark said, I was the regional director for LaTip International for 6 years. I started doing that in 2005. That job fell into my lap, and it was awesome. I had never been introduced to, or I was never familiar with this concept of networking like we do here. But they brought me in from the outside, so I had to learn everything by rote. I didn't cut any corners or skimp. I learned all their stuff by the textbook, and then I went out and I implemented it and I taught it, and I was very successful at that. And about 2 years into it, I kept running into these agents from Health Plans for Less. So I sat down with the owners one day to talk about my own insurance needs, and not only did I sign up with them, I said, you know what, one day I'm going to come work for you. This is awesome. But I wasn't ready to step away from LaTip because I was about 2 years into it at that point, and I was one of their top guys in the country, and I was making a lot of money, and it was a lot of fun. And about the end of 2010, what happened was, as fun as the job was, it was starting to take a toll on my health because I would spend 4 or 5 hours a day on the freeways. I managed chapters from Ventura to Riverside to South Orange County. So I was very intimate with all the freeways around town, and I was starting to put on a lot of weight, and it was 12, 14-hour days, and I said, you know what, this is not going to work over the long haul. I was starting to really feel it from my health's point of view. So I went back to Ken DeBose, one of the owners of Health Plans for Less, and I said, remember back when I bought that first policy from you and I said I'm going to come work for you one day? Well, today's the day. Tell me what I got to do. Great, Brad. Got to go out and get licensed and get all your insurance in a row for E&O and everything, and then come back to me and we'll train you and we will get you going with this. And not only that, because we know you, we're going to set you up as opening up the Los Angeles region for us. And that's what I did. And I started officially in June of last year, but I was so fried I took a little time off. I really didn't start until that first Contacts and Coffee meeting exactly a year ago, about a week from now. So I went into that Conejo Contacts and Coffee meeting, and I started to do what I had taught people to do for 6 years, and lo and behold, within about 60 or 90 days, I had more business than I can follow up on. Now, there's an irony to that. There's some funny backstory to that. I really wanted to do this before 2010, but I was afraid to do it because I kept looking at it and going, how am I going to get clients? And the answer was in front of me the whole time. The answer was in front of me the whole time. It's all about the networking. So let me talk to you a little bit about what we do. Health Plans for Less has been around since 1996. We recognize there are a couple of holes in health insurance. Number one, the one you're all familiar with, is the cost. And you know what? It's kind of a myth. The cost factor has always been there. Health insurance has always been outrageous. I was chatting with some of the senior agents in our group the other day, and they were telling me about cases they worked on back in the mid-90s where people were still paying $600, $700, $800 a month for their health insurance. So you know what, health insurance, believe it or not, has always been expensive. It just, the perception is with the economy being the way it is, it's more expensive than ever. So what we do is, number one, we address that issue. How do we get some relief for families, for individuals, for small business people who have to buy their own health insurance, who don't have an employer paid plan and they have to go out and shell out this money themselves? How do we shave money off their monthly premiums and put stuff back in their pockets that they can use to live on, and not cut their benefits? That's the other thing. So that's our challenge number one. The second insidious problem, I think, with the health insurance industry that you might not be aware of is the fact that, as Chuck stated, the vast majority of bankruptcies in this country are due to health problems. People contract critical illnesses and they have health insurance, and guess what? They still end up losing everything and declaring bankruptcy. That's because there's a fatal flaw inherent in all major medical plans. They are designed to specifically pay doctors' bills and hospitals' bills. They will not pay your bills, especially if you become so seriously injured or so seriously hurt that you can't get out there and earn a paycheck, and that you can't get out there and pay your mortgage, keep paying your medical premiums so you keep your health insurance coverage, and all the things that you got to keep going so your life doesn't unravel and you become one of those statistics. So recognizing that fact, what we do, even though it's revolutionary, it's innovative, and if you talk to 100,000 health insurance agents, you might find 2 that know what we do. It's not that complicated. All of our plans start off with low-cost, common-sense major medical plans. You would be shocked at how many benefits are buried in your plans that you'll never, ever, ever, ever use or take advantage of. By trimming that down to just the common sense plans that we use that have just wellness exams and some doctor visits to cover you, basically what you're going to do is you're going to save a ton of money when you're doing that. Now, no matter what you buy, if you buy the $100 a month major medical plan or you buy the $1,000 a month major medical plan, guess what? They're all the same coverage. They're all the same coverage if you get critically ill. They will all leave you hanging in the exact same spot. So recognizing that, we take all that money we've saved and we go back into it and we plug the holes. Well, how do we do that? We layer in some ancillary benefits that's going to protect you in 99% of the cases. So what's going to cause you to max out and use your major medical plan in a big way? What's going to immediately make you hit that deductible and then max out of pocket? Cancer, heart attack, stroke, okay, what we call or classify as critical illnesses. That's one thing. The other one is you could get in a bad accident. You could get hurt really bad. So, recognizing that fact, we layer in 2 extra benefits in there. One is an accident plan. It's from an A-rated company we work with called CalStar. These plans, we evaluate the marketplace all the time, and it might not be CalStar next week, but it's been CalStar for the last year. What they do is they'll basically pay all your out-of-pocket medical expenses, and you might have a medical expense, or you might have a health plan that you're not aware of that has a $5,000 or $10,000 potential max out-of-pocket that you'll be on the hook for. If you get hurt in an accident, you fall off a tree and break your arm, you fall off a ladder and twist your ankle, you get hit by a vehicle, you're going to go to the emergency room and or the ICU, and you're going to maybe even be in the hospital overnight, you're going to hit that max out of pocket in 1 day, less than 1 day. And the CalStar plan is very elegant. All you do is turn around and submit those bills to them, and they will pay all of that minus their own $100 deductible. So when most people look at that, they'd much rather be out of pocket $100 than $5,000 or $10,000 that their major medical plan will leave them hanging with. And what they'll do is end up being much cheaper on the monthly premiums, because those 2 plans layered together, way cheaper. The next thing we add is critical illness coverage. Again, if you're healthy, this is not something that's expensive. We add that back in there to not only pay your out-of-pocket medical expenses should you get diagnosed with a cancer, heart attack, stroke, or one of these critical illnesses. It will also give you a lump sum cushion of cash that you can use to pay your bills, to pay your medical premiums, so your life doesn't unravel as you're going through recovery, getting back on your feet, chemo, radiation, whatever you have to deal with to get your health back. You know that you're going to have money there so that your life doesn't unravel and you lose all your assets. All these things layered together it ends up coming in most of the time 30 to 50% less than what they were paying for just their major medical insurance when I got introduced to them. Like Mark says, I just show this to you. I explain how it works. It's completely up to you whether you want to do it or not. I don't pressure you to change. If you want to do it, I'll help you fill out the applications process. That is very important because you've got to fill these things out correctly to get them approved. In the last month or so, I've gotten people approved that other agents couldn't get approved, and it's just a matter of being able to answer their questions completely and wholly and not leaving anything to guesswork on the underwriter's part. Because if they think you're hiding something or leaving stuff out, denied. They'll just deny you. So the whole thing is no good to you at that point. Real quick, couple of questions. Elaine?
How do you deal with pre-existing conditions?
Pre-existing conditions, we got some tricks up our sleeves. There's things that we can do. I've formed small groups for people in this room. While they're not here today, I've formed small groups for people. 2 people can be a group. If you have a business, there are ways to get business insurance. Get insurance through your business, and that's one way we can do it. There's also guaranteed issue plans from the state that we can fall back on. Again, we got a lot of fallback positions. Most people we can get insured to some degree. Chris?
Are you able to help folks who are either boomers or folks on Medicare going on to Medicare?
I personally don't do that. It takes extra licensure and expertise. You've got to be an expert into that area onto yourself. I'm happy to report that Dale, well, he's not here. He's in the Conejo group. One of my agents is now certified to do that. So I'm going to hand that stuff off to Dale or agents that specialize in that area just because I want to stay focused. I think that's the key to being successful as anything is being an expert in one area. Bobby James.
Just curious, I was wondering if you have specialized programs for like veterans and specialized groups like that?
Association type things. A lot of those things are smoke and mirrors. I hate to say it, but I'll go into a real estate office and everybody goes, oh, we're covered through our real estate, we're covered through Keller Williams. Well, let me see what you got. And I look at it. Well, this is just an individual plan that anyone can get. It just so happens Keller Williams said, here, use this plan. And a lot of times I can help those people. One last one, Mark.
Rachel at the Conejo Conference of Coffee this week came with her leg all wrapped up. She's a cancer survivor. Some of us saw that. Rachel Short, she stood up and said, you know, I have to pay for this thing. It's not covered in 5 years and this stuff. Yeah. And I'm thinking, good God, the people that she helps, if they had gone to see Brad first,
yeah.
I can imagine you look at a lot of those things all the time and go, I wish the people in my group had taken this.
I hear so many stories. It's the last note I'm going to leave you with of people who waited too long. Once you've had a critical illness, you can't get covered by this stuff. Unfortunately, you're ineligible. So that's something you want to keep in mind and look at this sooner rather than later. The last one, Chuck.
No, I was just going to say on a side note, not that Aflac will cover you if you're a cancer survivor, keeping cancer-free for 10 years.
Right. So
I'm not trying to still
no, Aflac's a way we can go for that kind of stuff, but the kind of programs that I use that are comprehensive and big sledgehammer solutions, the problem is once you've had cancer, heart attack, stroke, or one of 14 other things, you can't qualify.
10 years is a long time.
And 10 years is a very long time.
Yeah. So if you want me to sit down and look at your health plan, I'll be happy to do it. Sometimes I tell you, don't make a move, stay with what you got, but a lot of times I can come up with something better. So thank you, everyone.